Okay, what I was explaining, there are two forms of the circle, of the equation of a circle that they could ask you for. One is called the standard form and the other one is the general form. This is the standard form that we learned last class, and now we're going to show you the general form. We said the general form, how they got the general form, all they did, they expanded this. They expanded the standard form. So now I'm going to show you that. Okay, the general rule, just in case you didn't know, is A plus, you learn this in like math class or something, yeah? If you didn't already learn it. A plus B squared is the same as A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. And then when given, A minus B squared is A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. That's just a rule whenever expanding brackets like that, right? Let me just put this here. Actually, no, let me not put that in. Put it in. Okay, so you could just learn this next time. You probably see it. No, not probably. You would see it in maths at some point. All right. If I wanted to expand these brackets, x plus h squared, looking at this, the rule says a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So if I wanted to expand these brackets, a in this case would be x. So according to this rule, the first thing I'll write is x squared. And my b is h. According to this rule, the next thing is 2 plus 2ab. A is x and b is h. So what I write in here, instead of x, h, I write in h, x, right? Plus. Same thing here. The rule says a plus b squared is equal to that. In this case, a is y. So I would put y squared plus 2ab. A is y, b is k. So that's 2. Instead of writing ab, I write in ba. But it's the same thing, yeah? This is just to show you how the general form is usually written. It's equal to r squared. Put r, shucks, no, I forgot something. Erase that. Yep, forgot something. Sorry about that, yeah. So 2ab, we have that, b squared. H is b, so I'll put h squared in. Plus a is y, so y squared plus 2ab, a is y, and b is k. So that's 2 ky plus b squared, b is k. So all right, and k squared in this case is equal to r squared. Now I could rearrange these terms. So I could write it as x squared. So let me just cross it off as I go. X squared plus y squared. So I cross that off. Plus 2hk. I can cross that off. Plus 2ky. I'll cross this off. Next thing I want to write, h squared. Cross that off. Plus k squared. Cross that off. What we're trying to do, we're trying to set this whole thing, this whole equation, equal to 0. So I could bring the r squared across to get minus r squared is equal to 0. You good so far, right? You understand what I did? I was just expanding these brackets. You good? Yes? No?
Good.
Okay. And there's a formula. You'll see it when I go back on the slide. What it says is that C is just a constant. So it could be 2, 1, a quarter. C is just a constant, so just a number. this formula, you would learn C is equal to H squared plus K squared minus R squared. Let me circle it in green. So look at this. So C is equal to that. And look, it's right here. H squared plus K squared minus R squared. What does that mean? I could rewrite this equation again. So looking down here now, I could write this as x squared plus y squared plus 2hx plus 2ky plus, we said, h squared plus k squared minus r squared, that is equal to c. So instead of writing all of this, I could just put plus c is equal to 0. And this right here, this is what you call the general form of the equation of a circle. Both of you good with that?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Right. Please let me know if you're not okay with that. Okay, so like I have here, general form, x squared plus y squared plus 2hx plus 2ky plus c is equal to 0. And c is equal to h squared plus k squared minus r squared. All right. So they might ask you, they might give you the general form of the equation, of the circle, I mean, and ask you to find the center and find the radius. This is just one way of finding it. So the first part A, in order to find the center, you could use the following formula. H is equal to the coefficient of x over 2. The coefficient of x is the number that comes right before x. So in this case, is 2. So if I wanted to find h, the formula h is equal to the coefficient of x divided by 2. So that's 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 1. Therefore, h is equal to 1. You good with that, right? You just following the formula. You good?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
K, to find k is the coefficient of y divided by 2. Coefficient of y is the number that comes just before y. So that's 4 in this case. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So h is equal to 1 and k is equal to 2. However, remember, the coordinates of the center isn't k and it isn't h. So not k and not h. Coordinate is minus h and minus k. So if h is equal to 1, what's the value of minus h? Right there. Okay, let me just do it because if I want k, if k is 2, then the value of minus k would be equal to minus 2. Resolve. So center, if they want me to find the center is in the form minus h minus k. And we just found out that minus h is equal to minus 1 and minus k is minus 2. So what does that mean? Our center for this question, if they had asked me to find the center, would be minus 1 minus 2. Both of you good with that?
Yes, miss.
Come on, both of you.
Yes.
Remember, if you're not okay, please let me know so I can help you. If they want you to find the radius, you use the formula that I just showed you. C, which is the constant, is equal to h squared plus k squared minus r squared. In this case, C, let me just write the general form. So see that? General form is x squared plus y squared plus 2hx plus 2ky plus c is equal to 0. So you could see here that C is 3. Looking at this equation, C is equal to h squared plus k squared minus r squared. We said that h is 1, h is 1, and k is equal to 2. So I just substitute those values to get my value of r. C is 3, so I put 3 there, is equal to h squared, h is 1, so that's 1 squared plus k is 2, 2 squared minus r squared. And I just transpose, which means I just make r the subject of the formula. So 1 plus 4, that's 5 minus r squared. I could minus 5 on both sides, so that's minus 2 is equal to minus r squared. 2 is equal to r squared, but remember, you can't have minus a length. So instead of putting the square root, instead of putting this plus or minus the square root of 2, that's wrong. It's just the square root of 2. And if they didn't specify the units, you have to write, you should write units. You good with that?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
All right. So now we're going to do some past paper questions because it has a few past paper questions on this topic. Where's my thing? Okay. These are the questions we're going to do now. The first one, yeah, let me just go in there. Share this with you after. I'll share this with you after, so you don't have to worry about writing down the whole question. You could just note the year, and that it's paper 2 and the number. So the first one we're doing, what's the first one we're doing? Okay, so 2012, 2013. Let me just zoom up a little bit. Okay, this is the one we're doing right now, paper 2, 2013. And we are doing part 1. So A part 1, part I. So just attempt this one for me, and then we'll do it together. Not part I, yeah, just this first part. You finished with this question? Okay, I'm going to continue now. So before we go through that question, I need to show you one more thing. See these questions, when they give you the general form, the equation of the circle, and they ask you to find the center and the radius, you don't have to use these formulae here. So h is equal to the coefficients of x on 2 and k is equal to the coefficients of y on 2. You could use those if you want to. The other way to find the center, you could write this general form. You could write it in the standard form. So let me go to the blackboard. They give you that x squared plus y squared plus 2x plus 4y plus 3 is equal to 0. So what I'm saying, instead of using the formula to find h is equal to k, so coefficient, so just put co-e x on 2 and co-e y on 2. Instead of doing that, you could write this in standard form. Remember, standard form is x plus h squared plus y plus k squared is equal to r squared. The goal is to write this in this form. That's if you want to. If you don't want to use, that's if you don't want to use this to find h and k. If you don't want to use this, you could write the general form in the standard form. So what I would do here, the first thing I would do is start grouping my terms. So x terms, so the terms with x will come together. So x squared plus 2x. Then I'll have my y terms together, y squared plus 4y plus 3 is equal to 0. Why I think that most people would prefer this method is because for this one now, what you have to do, like you have to complete the square for each one. So recall the completed square form is ax plus h squared plus k. So I put back x, h, remember, I put in all the formula that you have to know in red there. H is not minus b. This is why I think you would prefer this one, but just in case you prefer the other one I showed you, that's when we are trying to write this general form in the standard form. So remember, when completing the square, h is equal to b on 2a. In this case, b is 2 and a is 1. So that is 2 on 2 times a, which is equal to 1 squared. Next thing we want to do is find k. K is equal to c on a. We did this already. But in this case, hold on, let me just write the equation over here. X squared plus 2x. C is equal to 0 because it's only x squared plus 2x. And 0 divided by any number. So 0 on A, which is 1, is equal to 0. That's why we don't have to put that. Next one, plus. If I completed the square for y, I mean, if I lost you, huh? That's why I didn't really want to do this method. Instead of completing the square and all that, you could just use this. But I need to show you, just in case anybody else wants to do this one. We're completing the square. The quadratic we're looking at now is y squared plus 4y. Just as before, c is equal to 0. So I could just put plus 0 here. H, remember in completing the square, h is equal to b on 2a. b is 4 in this case, and a is still 1. So that's 2 times 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I could put y plus 2. And just like before, c is 0. So that's 0 and 1, which is 0, plus 3, okay, squared, equal to 0. The only thing that remains the same for this method, you see that 3? You might be tempted to do, hold on. Oh, this is the standard form. So what I have to do now is this. This is what you would be tempted to do, huh? This isn't right. Plus, and you just go and put the minus 3 over here and put a squared and say, okay, we good. No, that's not what you do. Hold on, erase out. Hold on. That's not what you do. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did not just do that. Okay, long story short, C, it would still be this equation. Minus r squared. And you continue. Right? Just needed to clear that up. Okay. If I lost you, let me know. People who just came, you might know what we're talking about. That's fine. I have the recording. So you good. People who were here with me, if I lost you just now, let me know, please.
No, miss.
Okay. Wait, no, I lost. No, I didn't lose you. Or no, you don't understand what I just did. You're confused and you need me to
No,
re-explain it.
miss, you didn't lost me.
Yes, I understood.
Understand.
You lost?
I understood.
No, miss, I understand.
Oh, okay. Everybody, yeah, let me know if you don't understand. Okay. People who weren't here, who just joined, let me just show you the question real quick. The question I'm going to go through now is this one. So you could just note the year and the number. That's what I'm going through now. Clear. Okay. Let me go back to the black screen. Okay. Bro. Okay. Here's my thing. First thing you want to do, for any problem, you want to write down all the information they gave you. So they told us at the center, so just going to write C. C is 2, 1. And they told us that it passes through a point B. So passes through B, which has the coordinates 10, 7. For the persons who were here and attempted it, if you didn't finish, that's okay. But the people, if anybody finished, what they wanted you to do is write it in the general form. So take this information and they wanted you to write it in the general form. So this is the general form. People who weren't here, don't worry, I recorded it. y plus c is equal to 0. So anybody finish this question and has an answer for me? Going once, going twice. No, okay, that's cool. Don't worry about it. All right. First thing you want to do, well, no, the second thing you want to do, draw your little sketch. Doesn't hurt to draw a sketch. So you have your center. You have the points. Let me write it in green. Let me just write it in green. So they told us the center is 2, 1. And they told us C passes through point B. So what does that look like? This would be my B, which has the coordinates 10, 7. And remember, this is your C. Let me write this in green as well. C. The first thing we could do is identify your H and your K to put it in this form. Remember, that's the first step. H and that's an answer in K. C. So let's see the center. 2, 1. What I need you to remember, the center is always in the form minus H minus K. If you want to draw arrows like these, that's fine too. They're not going to penalize you. What does that mean? That minus H would be equal to 2. If minus H is equal to 2, what's the value of H?
It's -2.
-2. And what's the value of K? Anybody?
-1.
-1.
-1. K would be equal to -1. I didn't do an example like this, but using what you already know, we could figure it out. So we know, now that we did that, we know that H is -2 and K is -1. Hold on. Okay. We know that H is -2 and we know that K is -1. I didn't give on the PowerPoint, I didn't give you steps. I didn't give you an example exactly like this, where they give you the center and give you another point and you have to write it in this form. What I gave you was, they gave you this form already, and what you had to do was identify your center and your radius. What you need to remember, questions wouldn't always be straightforward, where you have to follow step by step. Use your prior knowledge, try to figure out the question. So since looking at this form, this is the general form, we know that H is -2. So what we could do here, H squared plus Y squared, it would always be H squared and Y squared, plus 2HX. Let me erase that. 2HX. This is the same as 2 times H times X. And we already know the value of H. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So this is the same as 2 times -2 times X. So that means 2HX, where I see 2HX, hold on, let me write that in a different color, eraser. What does that mean? That means that 2HX in this equation is equal to -4X. And that's what I have to do here. I put, so I could erase this plus sign. Oh my gosh. No, I didn't do that. Oh my gosh, no. They don't have an undo button. Let's see, is equal to 0. Square plus y squared. So that h is minus 2 and k is minus 1. Looking at this. 2hx. So 2hx is the same as 2 times h times x. We already know what the value of h is. We said it's minus 2. We found out that. So 2 times minus 2 times x, that's minus 4x. So I could write minus 4 here. Minus 4x. Next one. 2ky. So 2ky, that's the same as 2 times k times y. We already know the value of k is minus 1, so that's 2 times minus 1 times y, which is equal to minus 2y. And that's what I put here. I put minus 2y plus c is equal to 0. We still don't know what c is yet. But before I erase all that by mistake, I have to retry circle. Remember the information they gave us? They told us center. The center was 2, 1, and that the point B is 10, 7. And this little circle I had here on here. So C is 2, 1. And it said that C passes through B. What does that mean? It connected. So this would be my point B here. 10, 7. Anybody remembers what's the formula for C? C is equal to what? Take away r squared. What was the problem here? We have h, so we could find h squared. We have k, so we can find k squared. But we don't know what r is. So what we need to do, we need to find what r is. Anybody has any idea how we would find r? Hold on, let me show you what r is. R, remember the radius, is the distance from the center to the circumference. So this blue line here would be r. Anybody has any idea how I could find the length of this line? Hint is one of the 3 formulas that we did at the beginning of the class. The people who were here. I'm going to have it. I have no clue what. Okay. Okay, no problem. Anybody has any idea how I'll find the length of this line? Yes, yes. Wait, repeat that. I couldn't hear what you were saying. Can you repeat that, please?
C is equal to h square plus k square minus r square.
Okay, let me repeat what I'm asking for. What I'm asking for, we're trying to find C. And we know that C is equal to h squared plus k squared minus r squared. We already found out that h is equal to minus 2. We found out that k is equal to minus 1. But in order to find C, we also need r. We don't know what r is. R is still a mystery. But looking at my diagram here, that's why it's good to draw a diagram so you can see what's going on. This is r. This blue line here is r. They did not give me the length of R, but I have 2 points. I have C and I have B. There's a formula that we did at the beginning of the class that will help me to calculate the distance between 2 points, aka the length of the line, which in this case is R. What I'm asking, does anybody remember what that formula is?
Is
Distance equals
square
square root
root
of
The square root of
The square root of x square minus x1 square plus y square minus y1 square.
X. Good job. So now I can replace this D, I can replace it with R, because that's what I'm trying to find, the length of R. And what to do now is substitute the values. So I want the, which one? I want B to be x2 and y2 and C to be x1 and y1. So x2 is 10, that's 10 minus x1 is 2 squared plus in brackets y2 is 7 minus y1 is 1 squared. 10 minus 2 is 8, so that's 8 squared is 64 plus 7 minus 1 is 6, and 6 squared is 36. 64 plus 36, that's the square root of 100. And we know that the square root of 100 is 10. So the radius is 10 units. You good with that? How we got the radius? Yes, no?
yes, yes.
Okay, I have one yes. Anybody else?
Yes.
Understood, miss.
Okay. We need to leave and rejoin. We have less than a minute.